If you're planning on visiting West Virginia in 2024, the best time for you to start planning your trip is right now. And in this video, I'm going to go over some of the best resources available for you to start planning your West Virginia vacation. So one of the best resources for you to begin planning your trip to West Virginia is going to be wvtourism.com. This site is ran by the West Virginia Department of Tourism and is probably one of the best resources when it comes to finding out the places to visit, the towns, the businesses, the restaurants, just all the best things West Virginia has to offer. And every year, West Virginia Tourism puts out some fantastic vacation guides. I've kind of collected them over the years, and they're just full of lots of pictures, great locations across the Mountain State, descriptions on all the places that you can visit here in West Virginia. Their site also has a lot of this information, a lot of these resources, but it's really cool. These are absolutely free. You just go to the website, give them your information, and there's even options that you can choose to narrow it down to specific regions and even cities to get more travel information from those more local areas. I tried asking them whenever they announced that they were accepting pre-orders, or I guess requests, for their 2024 vacation guides. I asked if they were going to include a map of West Virginia along with the travel guides. In previous years they have done that, but that's a really great thing to have on you, especially if you're going through the more rural or in the eastern part of the state through the National Radio Quiet Zone. Cell phone service and GPS isn't always the best, so having a physical map of the Mountain State is kind of a must-have. And don't want to mention anyone, but after doing this for 4 or 5 years, I have had multiple people tell me that they had a map, came to West Virginia and lost their only map. So you can pick up these vacation guides pretty much at any visitor center across the state, and you can also pick up West Virginia maps. I personally always keep 2 of them on me anytime I go anywhere. So an awesome resource if you're planning on visiting the Mountain State. Definitely check out westvirginiatourism.com. Now, when many people think about opportunities here in the Mountain State, they probably think of all the outdoor recreational opportunities that the state provides. From hiking and backpacking to camping and boating, the Mountain State is full of opportunities to explore the great outdoors. And if that's something that interests you, you should absolutely visit wvstateparks.com. This site is put together by the WV Park Service, and very much like WV Tourism, it's an amazing resource. They break down every single state park, not just by where it's located, but by what types of amenities and services are provided there. They even do breakdowns of every single hiking trail located within that state park, both the distance and the difficulty of the hikes. And they too put together a great free travel guide that breaks down many of the state parks. I don't know if they put those out every year or not. I have also requested mine for 2024. And again, excellent resource, especially if you want to figure out a best course for hiking through a West Virginia state park. WV State Parks is an amazing website and resource to use. Next up, we have the West Virginia DNR. That is the West Virginia Department of Natural Resources. Their website, WVDNR, is a great resource, especially if you're planning on coming to the Mountain State to do any hunting and fishing. You can always get a full list of all the hunting and fishing regulations there. Really, at any visitor center or anywhere that sells hunting and fishing license, you should be able to get physical printed copies of the DNR laws. And even if you don't plan on doing any hunting or fishing, WVDNR is a great resource because you can quickly see if there's any active hunting seasons in areas that you plan on going through and visiting. For example, a lot of wildlife management areas are open to the public for hunting, so by knowing what seasons might be active as you're coming through, you can plan out much safer trips. Or you can just keep a Blaze Orange vest in your vehicle, but definitely check out WVDNR if you're planning on doing any hunting and fishing in the Mountain State. Next up, we have to talk about WV Living Magazine, specifically their Best of West Virginia year-end issue. So every year they put out a Best of magazine where people are able to nominate different organizations and towns and businesses that then get voted on by the public to decide who is the best in those categories in West Virginia. You have bed and breakfasts, you have most unique tourist attraction, best brewery, most historic town, you name it, there's probably a category on this list for it. Let's say you're heading down to Point Pleasant and you want to know what the best fine dining experience is in the Mid-Ohio River Valley. You just look up that region and go to the fine dining section, and the winner for 2023 was the Blennerhassett Restaurant and Lounge. So whether you're checking out if your favorite local businesses made the list or you're just trying to discover more places that West Virginia has to offer, I would definitely look into the WV Living Best of West Virginia annual issue. A copy of it will probably run you about $10. You should be able to get it at pretty much any newsstand once they are published. I used to have a couple issues from previous years, but I think I gave them all away, sent them to people who were planning on visiting West Virginia. But definitely check out WV Living Magazine and their Best of West Virginia annual issue. Lots of great travel information therein. Next up, we have Way Out in West Virginia. This is probably one of my favorite West Virginia travel guides. If you are into the strange and the weird and unusual, and WV Tourism and some of the other sites I've mentioned so far on this list didn't really tickle that fancy for you, definitely check out Way Out in West Virginia. I believe I got a second edition. This is a fourth edition, revised and resized edition. I had a second edition and I've basically completely worn that one out, and a lot of the stuff I know about some of the more unique and weirder places in West Virginia I never would have learned if it wasn't for this book. Things like the Philippi Mummy, the John Henry statue, the Berkeley Springs Murder Castle, a lot of the festivals and other events in the state I only knew about because of Way Out in West Virginia, and every time they put out a new edition, I usually buy it. I know I've gone through a couple second edition issues. I thought I had a third edition issue, but apparently I gave that one away, and I think this is my second fourth edition issue. I picked this one up, I believe I picked it up at the Mothman Museum, and it will run you about $20. And for all the information within here, I mean, you're looking at about 300 plus pages of just weird history and locations, events, awesome places to visit here in the Mountain State. Definitely check it out if you are interested in the more weird side of travel across the Mountain State. So the last recommendation, the last book I would recommend you get if you're planning a trip here to West Virginia is called Signs of the Times, West Virginia's Highway Historical Marker Program. This book is put out by the Department of Arts, Culture, and History, and if you've traveled across West Virginia, you've probably seen the West Virginia Highway Historical Markers. I'll throw up some pictures of them here. Well, this book breaks down every single marker, what it says, and where it's located. I believe it's broken down by county, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're traveling across the Mountain State, you will see dozens, if not 100 plus of these roadside historical markers as you travel around. Unfortunately, you will not have time to get out and read every single one. So having a book like this is great to, if you've passed a handful of them that you weren't able to read, you can pull out your book and go, oh, I passed that one, I passed that one. And yeah, it's just a great way to learn the little bits of history from those historical markers without actually having to stop and read every single one. It's a great book. You can order copies of it. I think they run about $17, $18. Again, I would highly recommend it. I've seen a couple copies around at bookstores. I can't remember where I found my copies at. I think maybe a state park, but definitely check out that book. And those were some of the best resources I would recommend for anyone planning a trip to the Mountain State in 2024, really any year. A lot of the resources are absolutely free, but if you do want to go the route, buy some. You can pretty much get all the books I recommended today for under $50, maybe $55, which isn't really that bad because these are some excellent books and resources. Obviously, the only thing better than getting some amazing reading material and adventure inspiration is when it's free. So definitely head over to westvirginiatourism.com and pick up your free West Virginia travel guides today. I am in no way, shape, or form associated or affiliated with any of these organizations I mentioned today. Probably should have added that at the beginning of the video. But definitely, if you're planning a trip to West Virginia this spring, summer, whenever, the best time to start planning is right now. Definitely check out some of my videos if you want some more travel inspiration. But until next time, don't forget to stay wild, stay wonderful, and I'll talk to you in the next video.